This impacts just so many families across the valley. A lot of this has to do with how streets are built around here. Big roads that have long stretches without signals. As we've grown and the death rate has climbed, city leaders have committed to making changes, but they're not even meeting their own goals.
101 to downtown Phoenix on the I-10, 33 minutes.
A lot of brake lights around here.
We've got a big backup as a result.
Look at this, we've got some slowing northbound along I-17.
We are at the height of rush hour.
Traffic reports give all of us a heads up on roads to avoid. After all, who wants to get stuck and be late to work or school?
There was a 5-car crash, including the propane tanker.
You can see we've got an accident here. Look at this, solid slowing from the I-17.
Northbound on I-17. Yikes.
For the people involved, these crashes can forever change their lives.
His name was Mario. He was 22 years old.
Mario Aguirre recently graduated college and had plans to become a police officer.
He was amazing. He was so funny. He was such a caring person.
Mario was riding his motorcycle to his girlfriend's house, headed south on 75th Avenue near Encanto in Phoenix, when a driver struck him.
All I know is my nephew got hit. He got left on the side of the road for somebody else to find.
So the driver never stopped.
The driver never stopped, never called. The thing that stays with you is if you would have just called, would he still be alive today? Or, maybe something would have played out different.
According to the state's Department of Transportation, in 2023, 307 people in Phoenix were killed in crashes. Compare that to neighboring cities. Mesa had 54 traffic deaths, Glendale 40, and Scottsdale 17.
We see a lot more road rage. We see a lot more impatience on the road. We see a lot more speeding. And I think that's something that we need to combat.
Jorge Riveros with the city's street transportation department acknowledges the problem. Their numbers show speeding played a role in more than 20% of all crashes. They use the numbers to identify high-injury intersections and stretches of road. Then they take a closer look at those locations.
We're looking at a mix of education and enforcement. We really need enforcement to be part of the equation when we look at safety.
Phoenix police provide that enforcement.
It's like an effort.
We got to see those efforts firsthand.
More and more people are, again, driving distracted, exceeding the speed limit, driving while they're impaired. Traffic enforcement is a way to stop a crime before it happens.
Lieutenant Justin Wood has spent 17 years on the traffic unit. He says our main roads facilitate speed.
A lot of them tend to be wider, more lanes. People feel with the more open space, they can drive faster.
We met him and his officers at one of those high
Die, I go to heaven and chill.
Avenue and Indian School. The speed limit here, 40 miles per hour. Within minutes, they clock drivers going 55 and 58 miles per hour. The officer shortage has had an impact. Lieutenant Wood says when he started with the unit, they had 154 officers dedicated to traffic enforcement. That's now down to 30. He claims drivers have noticed and are taking full advantage.
They realize that most officers are doing the patrol function and traffic enforcement is kind of fallen by the wayside.
It also impacts how many officers are investigating hit and runs like the one that killed Mario. Almost 2 years later, there's been no arrest, no accountability.
Do you think that the city needs to do more on this front?
Yeah, I think we need to do better.
In 2022, Phoenix adopted a program called Vision Zero, pledging money and resources in an effort to end all traffic deaths. And while the number of crashes involving serious injuries are down, those resulting in death are up and have been since 2015.
We have a distinction. We're moving to try to get away from that.
Yet Arizona's Family Investigates finds the city is missing several of the goals it set for itself, including reducing the number of nighttime crashes and those involving pedestrians. None of it surprising for Mario's family.
It's not fair that more families have to, be grieving before something happens.
Now, Phoenix is also #1 among other large cities when it comes to pedestrians killed on our roads. Here again, we top major cities like LA and Dallas. What is the city doing to address that, and is it working? We push the city for answers as we continue our multi-night event on deadly driving. That's tomorrow night, right here at 6:30 on CBS 5.
I feel like wherever you live, people say, oh, I got the worst drivers where I live, but you made it easy for all of us to kind of pinpoint where the trouble spots are.
Exactly right. Our team put together crash data not only for Phoenix, but statewide. If you head to this story right now on azfamily.com or the AZ Family News app, you can scroll through the story to a map we've put in. You can put in any address and a radius, and it will pull up just how many crashes occurred in that area.
First up right now at 6:30, Arizona family investigates dangerous driving in the valley. Just this morning, a 60-year-old man died in a hit and run in Glendale. Police are still looking for that driver. In Phoenix, nearly half of all deadly crashes involve pedestrians.
And because we have more deadly crashes than any other major city in the country, investigator Amy Cutler is pressing for answers.
For most of us, the morning commute is routine, maybe a little stressful, but not life and death.
What's it like trying to cross this intersection?
Disaster area would be putting it mildly.
That's how Patrick Beck describes crossing Indian School at 67th Avenue to get from the bus stop to the Fry's where he works. It's one of the city's high injury network intersections, meaning it's flagged for how many serious and deadly crashes have happened here. Phoenix data shows between 2019 and 2023, 2 people were killed, 116 injured.
I've seen people get hit, almost get hit. You got elderly, you got children, you got disabled people. When is it going to be enough?
Patrick already survived a car hitting him. 5 years ago, as he crossed 7th Street north of Camelback, he was in the crosswalk, and the driver never stopped.
The driver cut 4 lanes of traffic, slammed into me, launched me.
He's now left with a scar after doctors repaired his shattered ankle.
It's 17 inches of screws holding it all together.
His wife Brenda says drivers are the problem.
They don't pay attention to you. I've been almost hit numerous times.
Numbers back up their experiences. City data shows pedestrians are involved in 44% of all deadly crashes in Phoenix.
Every person is a story.
Jorge Riveros is an engineer with Phoenix's Street Transportation Department. He says these troubling trends are why city leaders adopted Vision Zero back in 2022, a program aimed at preventing all traffic deaths.
Do you see 0 fatalities as a realistic goal here?
You know, it's a difficult question. I mean, idealistically, that's what we'd all love to see.
To help get there, the city leans on data and neighbor input. There's a community advisory committee.
Too often I hear families complain, I don't feel safe allowing my kid to cross the street. I don't feel safe allowing my kid to bike to school.
Ed Hermes chairs that committee.
We can't keep doing what we've done in the past in terms of our street design and just prioritizing speed over everything. I'm disappointed of where we're at right now. We need to do more.
But changes cost money. Specialized crosswalk signals are about $250,000 each. When the city council voted to adopt Vision Zero, they approved $10 million a year to implement it.
2 years in, do you think the city is committing enough money to making this happen?
I think so, yes. I definitely believe from where it was to where it is now, definitely a lot more money.
Hermes disagrees.
This is a man-made problem, and because it's a design problem in large part with our street design, it's also a problem we can solve.
But in its own report, the city lists 7 projects to make roads safer for pedestrians and bicyclists. Only 2 are marked as completed. 2 are not complete, and tracking for the others hasn't even started.
It's going to take a lot of work, and it's going to take the political will to prioritize safety.
There is also an equity issue. Most of these high injury networks are on the west side in poorer communities.
Those are all things that we look at and try to understand, are there higher rates of walking in these areas? Are there higher rates of, again, taking transit or bicycling?
At 59th Avenue and Indian School, the Becks are living this every day. When you cross the street, what goes through your minds?
Is somebody going to run the red light? Am I going to be the next person who is seen on TV that has either died or been severely injured?
The city says in addition to that $10 million each year, there are state and federal grants. To date, they've gotten more than $32 million that has gone to funding dozens of different traffic safety initiatives.
They're working on it, but is this Vision Zero really the answer?
Yeah, so we looked into this, and advocates and experts say that it is used in more than 30 cities across the country. It started in Europe. They say it has a very good success rate when cities put the money and resources behind the program. I should also mention our series continues tomorrow. We're going to look at safety solutions. There's a neighboring city that's further along in the Vision Zero program, and so we're going to check in with them to see how they're doing.
Tonight, we're taking a closer look at safety solutions. Our investigator, Amy Cutler, is here. And Amy, there is one Valley city making this a big priority.
Exactly right, and that city is Tempe. With thousands of college students and a denser downtown, they're used to people walking around and riding bikes. The city has been working across departments to reduce traffic deaths.
We are staying on top of some breaking news.
Oh, some backups and some brake lights.
We're entering the thick of rush hour. Here's a live look.
You can see we've moved into the rush hour.
Take a look at your screen here.
Seeing some slowing in the West Valley.
Look at this.
Red conditions. Oh no.
Traffic alerts on freeways get a lot of attention since they cause big backups during the morning and evening rush hours.
Red conditions indicates average speeds below 25 miles an hour.
But when Arizona's Family Investigates dug into where serious and deadly crashes are happening in Phoenix, numbers show 60% are on surface streets.
I try to hold on to hope.
Hope that after 2 years, the driver who hit and killed her nephew, Mario Aguirre, will be held accountable.
All I know is my nephew got hit. He got left on the side of the road for somebody else to find.
The 22-year-old, an aspiring police officer, was on his motorcycle.
Oh, it's damaging, you know. Even if you do get those answers, you know, it's not gonna fix what happened.
Patrick Beck spent 6 months learning to walk again after a speeding driver hit him while walking in a crosswalk.
The driver cut 4 lanes of traffic, slammed into me, launched me.
These crashes are just 2 examples. On average, Phoenix saw 869 serious and deadly crashes in every year from 2018 to 2022. The city adopted Vision Zero in 2022, a program that aims to prevent all traffic deaths.
What's the value of the city of Phoenix implementing this Vision Zero program?
I think Vision Zero is important. It touches people's lives at the end of the day.
Vision Zero looks at where these most serious crashes are happening and what factors they have in common. Tiffany Smith is a program manager helping cities implement the plan.
We are seeing that when communities really focus on the built environment, focus on prioritizing safety over speed, they are able to observe some safety gains.
2 years in, we found Phoenix has missed several of the goals it set for itself. But you don't have to look far to find a city further along in the Vision Zero program. We're talking about Tempe. They adopted it back in 2020.
At a time when funding is limited, you've made this a priority. Why is that?
Most of the people who work in Tempe live in Tempe. We love Tempe. We want to protect our neighbors.
Ellie Velosin, a traffic engineer with Tempe, says they regularly meet with the police and fire departments along with the city manager's office, looking at ways to improve safety.
Speed feedback signs when you're coming off the freeways in Tempe, you'll see a lot of those. And we've put a lot of reflective kind of back plates on our signal heads to make those more visible.
They've also made the speed limit signs larger. And she stresses all these small changes add up.
All right, let's go right around.
We rode along with Tempe police to see how drivers are responding.
So every year, we look at all the statistics for all of our different roadways and intersections, and we pick out, each quarter, we pick out 4 safety corridors.
Lieutenant Michael Hayes explains those stretches get these big, bright yellow banners.
So you're saying people look at these signs and actually slow down?
Yeah, I really believe they do.
They've also divided the city into 4 quadrants and assign a different shift to each one.
Not only does it provide ownership to a group of officers, but it also provides accountability to those officers of what they're doing on a daily basis.
While they haven't seen major drops in the number of serious and deadly crashes, they have made some progress at a time when Tempe is growing.
We just really need to be more intentional about how we build our infrastructure.
The city also recently approved red light cameras at 14 major intersections, along with 4 mobile units. This has been a contentious issue statewide.
There was a mixed reaction as community members who said it was a money grab by cities.
The reality is, I think, lowering speeds and having people think and act appropriately at intersections will ultimately save lives.
Phoenix had red light cameras until 2019. The city removed them, citing concerns over privacy, effectiveness, and discrimination, but is now considering bringing them back.
We want to make sure that we do have safety on our roads. And if it needs to come to this, then absolutely, we're going to look at all the tools that we have available to us.
Phoenix PD is dealing with an officer shortage, and that's impacted traffic enforcement. They are down to just 30 officers in that department.
We can't post an officer at every intersection.
For Maria, anything that would slow drivers down would be a good start.
People go from 0 to rage, within seconds, and it's like, all for what? Why?
Tempe's red light camera program will start back up in 2025. The city of Phoenix is also considering it. They've hired researchers who found there was a 28% decrease in crashes involving injuries and deaths at intersections with red light cameras.